What happens when the worlds of AI and crypto collide in ways that we never imagined or thought possible? Well, today I'm going to be sitting down with Dan Kim from Coinbase, and we're going to tackle that question together. Because, hey, it's no secret that AI has dominated headlines in recent years, while blockchain and crypto have steadily built the infrastructure to change how we exchange value and maybe even trust each other online. But what does it mean when these two forces begin to operate in tandem, and then even empower each other? Well, Dan is going to be sharing how Coinbase is shaping this convergence through the Coinbase Developer Platform, which is ultimately a toolkit designed to strip away the usual headaches of blockchain development that so millions of developers, regardless of their background, can now start building on-chain applications powered by AI. And he's going to explain the idea of agentic commerce, where AI agents and wallets make purchases or book travel within certain parameters, and why a secure, transparent blockchain is vital when machines handle our money, obviously. So if you ever found yourself wondering how secure your wallet would be, and if an AI assistant shops on your behalf, or how blockchain could protect your data while an AI negotiates a hotel stay, I think this conversation will help you think a little bit differently about the future. But the bigger question is, are you ready to rethink the art of the possible when AI and crypto stop competing for those headlines and start building a future together? And with the scene set, well, now I will officially introduce you to Dan Kim from Coinbase. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
I am Dan Kim. I am the Vice President of Business Development here at Coinbase. I lead the Coinbase Developer Platform here, where we make a lot of cool stuff that makes it just easier to build on blockchain. We believe that in order for blockchain and crypto to grow, we got to lower the barriers to entry, and that includes both users and developers. And CDP, Coinbase Developer Platform, is dedicated to that. And that's the team I'm on. Happy to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you join me, especially because I think, a few years ago, all our news feeds, they were just full of stories of crypto, of blockchain, but then AI almost seemed to break into the party and steal all the headlines, and that's all everyone's been talking about since. But I think the exciting part of all this for me is this convergence of both AI and crypto that's gaining momentum. So how is crypto currently facilitating transactions, not only between people, but maybe even between autonomous AI agents? What are you seeing here?
Well, one of the things that we noticed last year was just how quickly AI was advancing. I think we've all seen kind of the beginnings of this growth last year with ChatGPT and a lot of these chatbots. But it didn't get really interesting for us until we started to see AI agents start to do things that we should care about, which is being able to buy and sell things. I think leading up to that point, a lot of it was accessing information, organizing information, and making our lives easier through automation. But then we started to see a lot of developers lean into blockchain technology to empower these agents to do more than just give us information. We started to see them very close to, if not already, buying, selling things with real money on blockchain. And that's possible because both AI and crypto speak the same language, software. And when we started to see the convergence of those two things, that's when we knew this could be something very exciting, and we started to lean in to really embrace what that meant for developers and the world.
And I think payments have long been a challenge, both on-chain and AI developers. So why do you believe the integration of crypto and AI provides such a viable solution to some of these payment issues? Because I was reading before you came on that this is an area that you're incredibly passionate about. So tell me more about this.
If you look back at the history of the internet, I think there was always a desire to make payments native to how the internet works, which is speaking in code. And I just don't think the infrastructure was there, 20, 30 years ago when all this was being built. So we kind of migrated away from that and said, well, look, even though we can communicate with data, we'll kind of do the human way of paying, which is this system of credits and debits, right? I'll give you a credit card and to see if you're worthy of me giving you credit, and then maybe I'll pay you in a couple of days. And even though information moves at a much faster speed, payments never really got there. And we just kind of accepted the credit card as the default way of being able to buy and sell things over the computer. And it wasn't until blockchain technology became a lot more usable and more performant that I think things started to change, even for AI. We saw networks get a lot faster. We saw stablecoin adoption, which is important in payments. So you got to know what the underlying value is going to be, and hopefully, hope that doesn't change. Adoption grew significantly. We saw a lot of good positive regulatory momentum in the space. I think over the past couple of months, we've just started to see the convergence of all these things that are necessary in order for AI and crypto to be meaningful for payments. And we believe that the combination of AI agents just getting smarter, blockchain technology becoming faster, cheaper, and overall awareness adoption just growing, gave it the right conditions for what we're calling agentic commerce to become a thing. So I think that's where a lot of the excitement, or at least our excitement, is the intersection of AI and crypto and what that means for disrupting the global payment ecosystem. So that's what we're really excited about.
So the Coinbase Developer Platform, or CDP, that was designed to simplify on-chain development. So here we are in the middle of 2025. How is CDP enabling developers to build AI-powered applications without needing blockchain expertise? Because again, this feels like that moment where you're lowering that entry level, and quite a big moment.
One of the most frustrating statistics that I read, and this doesn't seem to change year after year, is the number of Web3 or on-chain developers there are versus all other developers outside of Web3. I think the numbers on the Web3 side range anywhere from 25,000 to maybe 75,000, maybe 100,000 developers on a good day. And then you look at, everyone else, and, those numbers are usually in the tens of millions of developers. And, crypto's been around for, more than a year, right? It's been around for a decade, if not longer. Yet we're kind of stuck. Why? Well, it's hard. Crypto development, blockchain development isn't easy. You got to learn new languages. People move very fast. Things change. By the time you learn something even, changes, the next day. And you throw AI on top of that and just becomes this massive, chaotic technology that just has to be harnessed and embraced and delivered in a very safe way. We felt that in order for crypto to really be a thing globally, and for it to really impact the world in a positive way, and to get the billion users we talk about, you got to have a lot of developers building the stuff that those users want and need and will find helpful. So CDP is really a way to make building on blockchain, building with crypto, a lot easier. How do you abstract away all the stuff that developers need to learn and deliver that in a language, in a platform, in a format that they're familiar with? Dealing with SDKs and APIs instead of having to learn brand new languages and development frameworks. So that's what we're doing. We're simplifying access to building on chain, making it easier for developers, regardless of their background or their knowledge, to be able to build and develop and deploy really cool stuff and really harness blockchain technology without having to worry about things that can go wrong if you don't know what you're doing, like security and making sure that you're working with trusted partners. And that's what Coinbase Developer Platform is all about, is how can we bring trust and safety and reliability and confidence to developers who might otherwise be afraid of embracing crypto. And that's really why CDP exists.
And I was reading before you joined me on the podcast today that you've previously mentioned that on-chain technologies are actually giving control back to creators. So how is this shift empowering developers and indeed creators across industries far and wide, from fintech to gaming and social media? What are you seeing here?
So I think there's two ways to look at it. One is just crypto and what the technology can do. And then there's what crypto can do when you layer AI on top of it. On the former, I think what crypto does is it gives creators a new way of being able to connect and monetize. Right? In the past, you have to rely on big platforms and almost have to be at the mercy of credit card companies or these larger companies that kind of control your destiny depending on how popular you are and where you're located in the world. And if you don't meet certain criteria, you just won't get paid, right? And you just keep delivering content and hope that maybe you will one day. Blockchain tech changes a lot of that because it makes payments a lot more accessible. It democratizes access to capital. And you can start doing things that you couldn't do before, like accept payments from the other side of the world without having to wait many, many days and have half of it go to processors, right? So I think that's one thing that crypto does. The other thing that it does when you start to combine it with AI is it starts to make building with crypto a lot easier. You may have heard of vibe coding. You may have heard of AI-powered development. This is a real thing that's going to benefit not only software engineers, but also anybody with a good idea, a good vision. All you got to do is think about what you want to build and be good at explaining that to, an AI chatbot or an agent. And it'll now build things for you, both on chain using AI. And I think the last time that was possible was maybe when websites became easier to build with the Squarespaces and the Wixes of the world. And we imagine that with a much more powerful tech that can actually do things that couldn't be done before in the space of payments. And that's really how AI and crypto is really democratizing the creator economy, is not just giving them the right blockchain tooling to make payments accessible, but the right technology stack to actually build cool stuff themselves with the ideas they have, instead of having to rely on someone who knows how to build, a software engineer, which can slow things down, right? And you got to find the right engineers to work with. So that's really the opportunity here, right? It's accessibility, it's democratization, and it empowers the best ideas to really drive change. And that's what AI and crypto are doing and will continue to do.
And I'm curious, how do you see that relationship between AI and blockchain technology further driving innovation in areas such as decentralized finance or DeFi, things like NFTs and creator economies? How do you see that relationship evolving?
Well, NFTs is a good example. If you remember a couple of years ago, I think all you had was artists creating JPEGs and images and kind of minting them and calling it a day. And as cool as that is in terms of being able to put things on chain, there's a lot more you can do with NFTs, right? There's a lot more you can do with a JPEG than just kind of sell it. You can have it be functional. You can actually use it to gate. You can have it, be a ticket, right? You can have it be a membership or a loyalty program. And all these things are things that require people to think things through from a development, from the perspective of a developer. So now with AI, you can actually not just mint an NFT or have an agent do it for you. You can actually have that agent do a lot more, like, hey, make this NFT something that people need in order to buy something, or make this NFT something that people need in order for that person to be able to enter or enjoy content. One of the things that we're doing right now is bringing back this 30-year-old HTTP protocol called X402. Which is based on the 402 error code. You remember you see the 404 error code, okay, content not found. Believe it or not, 402 was payment not found. Never went anywhere because there wasn't really any technology to kind of deliver on that. And with blockchain and Base L2 and USDC and all the stuff that's making blockchain move faster, we're now able to embrace old technologies and just, deliver really unique experiences that haven't been done before. And creators who want to do more than just mint an NFT can now actually build entire product ideas just by having that vision and being able to just tell AI what it wants it to do. And if that includes DeFi stuff like borrowing and lending or selling time for stable coins that you just couldn't do before with credit cards. It's all happening now. And I don't think that could have been possible without AI and crypto and its convergence, and the fact that they speak one common language, which is computer code. And they all work towards simplifying how people use that. And that's really what's driving the excitement here.
And for any developers listening, maybe looking to incorporate AI into their blockchain projects, what are some of the biggest challenges that they might face? And how do you, or how does the Coinbase Developer Platform help address some of these challenges, just to bring to life what we're talking about here?
When you start building with AI agents who are going to start to act autonomously, which means they're going to have a personality and life and point of view of their own, trust and security become incredibly important, especially when you're giving it money to do things. I think the number one thing that developers leaning into this space are going to start to be concerned with is how do I know that the tools that I'm using to build these AI agents and the blockchain infrastructure that I'm using to make these agents useful, how do I know that they're going to be around? How do I know that they're good vendors and partners? How do I trust them? How do I know they're not doing bad things in the world of illicit finance? And you don't, in many cases, especially when the companies you work with, you never heard of them before. So as the technology becomes more and more visible, and as more developers start to lean in a meaningful way, working with partners that they can trust and that they know are aligned in terms of what's important and how the businesses are going to grow. That's what we bring to the table, right? It's Coinbase is, a trusted brand. It's globally recognized, publicly traded. And these things matter for companies and developers who care about longevity and security. And I think that's where we're going to start to really notice a meaningful difference is when it comes to trust and importance of reputation. And working with partners like Coinbase is going to be super important for developers who care about building real businesses.
And as AI-powered autonomous agents inevitably become more prevalent, how do you see on-chain technologies better supporting secure and transparent interactions between these agents in the future? How do you see that unfolding?
So I think if AI wasn't touching your money and AI wasn't buying and selling things for you, I would argue that, security and identity are probably not as important as it would be if AI starts to touch money and make claims about identity and who you are. So without blockchain, I think AI is going to just be a really good answer to a lot of questions you have in life. But now that you have blockchain, it can actually go and do more than that, like buy something. How many times have you used ChatGPT and was this close to buying something and you're not able to do that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, why is that? Probably because you don't trust your AI agent or your ChatGPT to have your credit card number handy. The last thing I'd want to give it is my credit card number, because someone goes to it and tricks it, and there goes my number. You don't need a credit card number when you start to bring in blockchain technology to initiate payments between agents, right? You just need really good tech. You need stable coins. You need secure infra, and you can bypass a lot of that dependency that you used to have on these companies that used to call credit cards, Visa, Master. Who are they? Right? They're just brands we trust. But I think you need a lot more than that when you have agents that can actually outthink you, and that's where blockchain tech can come in, right? It's providing that infrastructure that brings security and makes security possible in a technology that's already very advanced. And developers can lean into blockchain tech to control their AI agents so they know what they're doing, and they can do so in a safe way. Without it, I think we'd be in a much different situation where, I don't know if you saw the movie Terminator or not, but 2027, the original Terminator with Schwarzenegger in it, 2027 was the year that these Skynet robots take over, which is only 2 years away, by the way, right? But yeah, it's a movie, but at the end of the day, we've seen the power of what agents can do. I think we need blockchain tech to really secure them and make sure that humans remain in the loop. And that's what crypto makes possible.
And looking ahead, assuming we don't see a rise of the robots with dark red eyes. How do you envision, or what do you envision as the most transformative applications that might emerge from this convergence of AI and crypto? And again, how are you at Coinbase? How are you positioning yourself to support some of these innovations?
The most exciting for us is something that we call agentic commerce. These are things that agents should be able to do on our behalf and buy things on our behalf, as long as we give it rules. A good example is booking travel, right? I use AI, GPT, Perplexity, whatnot, quite a bit in terms of where should I go and where the best this and how should I get there. And usually I have a budget for these things, right? So imagine being able to just give an agent, here's a couple $1,000 to go book everything that you just told me that you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
Without me having to go to 14 different sites and price shop and all that stuff. That kind of takes time. So I think that whole idea of autonomous commerce, whether it's performed from agent to agent or performed from human to agent, I think that's going to be where a lot of the growth is going to happen in what we used to call e-commerce. I think you're going to see agents that we control, that we deliver, that we create, start to be meaningful participants in this broad ecosystem that we call online commerce, and actually start to buy, sell things on our behalf without ever needing the human to enter some information in, like, what's your credit card number? And I think if you fast forward or even expand that beyond travel, to anything where you're just discovering information, at the end of that discovery cycle, you got to buy something, right? I think that is a lot bigger than people believe. And it's going to be a lot easier for builders to build things exactly like that, because the tech is only going to get better and better over time. So agentic commerce is an area that I think a lot of developers, they want to make a difference and be part of something big, should really lean into. And Coinbase Developer Platform makes it easy. All you got to do is have a vision and know how to build and have a desire to build, and we'll simplify it as much as possible for developers.
And it's possibly an episode for another day, but the big thing being disrupted here is Google or traditional searches, because we're finding information differently now and not relying on, a search that will deliver 10 sponsored results, but not the information that we need.
That is worthy, in my opinion, of another podcast. Yeah. Especially because, Google in particular has spent so much time getting into the e-commerce business through search. And right where I think they've gotten to a point where it's becoming relevant and whatnot, AI's kind of come and said, you know what, we're going to just change the entire model again. And people don't have to go to Google or Chrome anymore. They can just go to an app and not only find information that they need, but they can hopefully buy it one day just by telling a bot what you want and how much you want to spend. And that's really cool, right? That's I think that transformative technology is going to drive the best companies in the world to even, do more in this space. And that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, you and I both. I think that is a powerful moment to end on. Certainly food for thought for people listening, and maybe we will have to get you back on and discuss that at a later date. But thank you for sharing your insights with me today. But before I let you go, I want to ask you to leave one final gift for everyone listening. We have a Spotify playlist. I always ask my guests to leave something that means something to them, or a song that they just love that we can add to that playlist. Even guilty pleasures are allowed. But what are you going to leave and why?
So I grew up in music, and grew up playing piano and producing music and writing music. And for the longest time, I've never been able to do much with it because I can't sing. And finding singers, is a skill that I don't have. Recently, with AI, now that we're talking about AI, vocal technology and the ability to just deliver AI-powered voices has changed significantly. So I started writing and publishing a lot of songs recently, bringing together some of the melodies that I've had and using AI-powered vocals to create songs that are about crypto and AI, but done in a really cool top 40-ish way. So the song I'll leave you with that I'll send to you is one that I think is very appropriate, just given where we are with regulatory frameworks here in the US. It's just called Stablecoin. And it's on Spotify. And my artist name there is Dan X Kim. But it's just a song that celebrates stablecoins, but it's delivered in a very hip hop, R&B, top 40 pop kind of way. And the purpose of this is to really introduce to people, what might sound scary in a relatable, musical, and identifiable way, and to make it fun and approachable, and people start to celebrate it like it's a song versus a technology. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of different versions of ideas, and stablecoin is the one that I'll leave you with. And it's fun. It's, not what you expect, but it's something that I think needs to happen across blockchain, right? It's how do you take something very complex and make it relatable and enjoyable? And that's what we did with the song stablecoin.
Wow, I absolutely love it. I can't wait to check that out myself now. I mean, we started today talking about how technology lowers the barriers and enabling developers to build AI-powered applications without needing blockchain expertise. You've just been able to unleash that frustrated musician in you to write your own songs and get a voice out there to perform that song. And I think that's a beautiful moment to end on. But before I do let you go, anyone listening wanting to find out more information about anything we talked about today, where would you like to point them?
cdp.coinbase.com is a great site where all of our tooling is there, and obviously following us on Twitter as well, Coinbase Dev. But yeah, the website is where we put all of our most recent information, and then we can obviously connect with us on Twitter or on X.
Well, I'll add links to everything you mentioned there. I've got to ask, is there a music video for stablecoin, or is that work in progress?
So I just started using Spotify Canvas, which is the 10-second or 8-second video loop. And I'm using AI to power that as well, which you'll actually see when you launch the song Stablecoin on Spotify. So I think we're getting closer to music videos being powered by AI pretty soon as well.
Wow. So I'm going to get that embedded into the show notes so people can check that out. But man, we covered so much today and had a bit of fun along the way. I'm going to be checking that song out as we stop the call today. But more than anything, just thank you for joining me. Really enjoyed it. And I'll see you again maybe next time talking about search and the evolution of search. But thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it.
So as we wrap up today, what new perspective will you take away from how Coinbase is lowering the barriers for millions of developers and creators to step confidently into this next wave of AI-powered, blockchain-secured innovation? I think today's chat with Dan shed light on how trust, security, and creative freedom are all becoming tangible benefits rather than distant ideals. And today, I think from demystifying on-chain development to showcasing how agentic commerce could reshape everyday transactions, we've almost been given a glimpse into a future where our AI companions can handle processes, negotiate deals, even entertain us with music, all while anchored in the transparency of blockchain. So if this episode sparked any ideas for your own projects or even raised questions about the role of secure platforms like Coinbase, please let me know. And whatever you do, before you go anywhere, don't forget to check out Dan's AI-powered song called Stablecoin, which again shows how technology can make even the most complex topics accessible through creativity. But over you, what possibilities could you unlock by pairing your ideas with the powerful convergence of AI and crypto? As always, techblogwriter@outlook.com, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, just at Neil C. Hughes. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll return again tomorrow with another guest. Thanks for listening. Speak with you all again soon. Bye for now.